When sizing conductors and breakers for continuous loads, it is necessary to derate the components to account for the increased heat generation associated with continuous operation. According to the National Electrical Code, conductors must be derated for continuous loads. If the load is 100%, no derating is required. If the load is continuous, derate by 125%, that is, multiply the load current by 1.25. The National Electrical Code also requires breakers to be derated for continuous loads. If the load is 100%, no derating is required. If the load is continuous, derate by 175%, that is, multiply the load current by 1.75. For example, for a continuous load of 15 amps, the conductor is calculated as 15 amps times 1.25 equaling 18.75 amps, which you round up to number 10 AWG. The breaker is calculated as 15 amps times 1.75 equaling 26.25 amps, which you round up to a 30 amp breaker. It is necessary to multiply the conductor calculation again by 125% for the breaker because, even though the conductor is already derated for continuous load, the breaker must also be derated to ensure that it will not trip during normal operating conditions. For continuous loads, both the conductor and the breaker must be derated. The conductor is derated by 125% and the breaker is derated by 175%. This ensures that both components are adequately sized to handle the increased heat generation and prevent overcurrent conditions. To reiterate, derating for continuous loads is a crucial aspect of electrical design and installation. Continuous loads are defined as loads where the maximum current is expected to continue for 3 hours or more. Examples include lighting in commercial buildings, HVAC systems, and some industrial processes. Because these loads operate for extended periods, they generate more heat within the conductors and overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers. This heat can degrade the insulation of conductors, reduce their current carrying capacity, and potentially lead to premature failure of breakers or even electrical fires. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidelines for derating conductors and breakers to ensure safe and reliable operation under continuous load conditions. The fundamental principle is to increase the ampacity of the conductor and the rating of the breaker beyond the actual load current to compensate for the heat generated by continuous operation. The NEC specifies different derating factors for conductors and breakers. For conductors, the general rule is to increase the required ampacity by 25%. This is equivalent to multiplying the load current by 1.25. This derating factor accounts for the fact that the conductor will be carrying current for an extended period, resulting in higher temperatures. For breakers, the derating factor is different. Breakers are typically rated to carry 80% of their nameplate rating for continuous loads. This means that to determine the appropriate breaker size, you need to multiply the continuous load current by 1.25. Alternatively, you can select a breaker with a nameplate rating that is at least 125% of the continuous load current. It is important to understand that these derating factors are minimum requirements specified by the NEC. In some cases, additional derating may be necessary depending on the specific installation conditions. For example, if conductors are installed in a hot environment or are bundled together, their ampacity may need to be further reduced to account for the increased heat. To illustrate the application of these derating factors, let's consider a practical example. Suppose you have a continuous load of 20 amps. To determine the appropriate conductor size, you would multiply the load current by 1.25, which gives you 25 amps. You would then select a conductor with an ampacity of at least 25 amps. According to NEC Table 310.15.16, a number 12 AWG copper conductor with type TW insulation has an ampacity of 25 amps at 60 degrees Celsius. Therefore, a number 12 AWG conductor would be suitable for this application, assuming the insulation conditions are standard. To determine the appropriate breaker size, you would multiply the load current by 1.25, which gives you 25 amps. You would then select a breaker with a nameplate rating of at least 25 amps. In this case, a standard 25 amp breaker would be suitable. However, it is important to note that some manufacturers produce breakers with specific continuous load ratings. If you are using such a breaker, you should consult the manufacturer's specifications to ensure that it is appropriate for the application. In addition to the derating factors for conductors and breakers, the NEC also provides guidelines for box fill. Box fill refers to the maximum number of conductors and devices that can be installed in an electrical box. The purpose of these guidelines is to prevent overcrowding of conductors, which can lead to overheating and potential fire hazards. The NEC specifies different box fill requirements based on the size and type of box, as well as the size and number of conductors. The box fill requirements are typically expressed in terms of cubic inches. Each conductor and device installed in the box is assigned a certain volume, and the total volume of all conductors and devices must not exceed the box's maximum fill capacity. To determine the box fill for a particular installation, you need to consult the NEC tables and calculate the volume occupied by each conductor and device. The volume of a conductor depends on its size, while the volume of a device depends on its type. Once you have calculated the total volume, you can compare it to the box's maximum fill capacity to ensure that the installation complies with the NEC requirements. It is important to note that the box fill requirements are not only intended to prevent overheating but also to ensure that there is enough space for proper wire bending and termination. Overcrowded boxes can make it difficult to install and maintain electrical connections, which can increase the risk of loose connections and potential electrical hazards. In summary, derating for continuous loads and proper box fill are essential aspects of electrical design and installation. By following the guidelines provided by the National Electrical Code, you can ensure safe and reliable operation of electrical systems and prevent potential fire hazards. Remember to always consult the latest edition of the NEC and follow any applicable local codes and regulations. The topic of conductor sizing involves several factors that must be considered to ensure safety and efficiency. Firstly, the ampacity of a conductor, which is its current carrying capacity, must be sufficient to handle the load it will be subjected to. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides tables that list the ampacity of various conductors based on their size, material, and insulation type. These tables are typically found in NEC Table 310.15-16 and following tables. Secondly, voltage drop is another critical factor to consider. As current flows through a conductor, there is a voltage drop along its length due to the conductor's resistance. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction or operate inefficiently. The NEC recommends limiting voltage drop to no more than 3% for branch circuits and 5% for feeders. To calculate voltage drop, you need to know the conductor's resistance, the length of the circuit, and the current flowing through it. The formula for voltage drop is voltage drop equals current times resistance. To minimize voltage drop, you can either increase the conductor size or shorten the length of the circuit. Thirdly, ambient temperature also affects the ampacity of conductors. The ampacity values listed in the NEC tables are based on an ambient temperature of 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. If the ambient temperature is higher than this, the conductor's ampacity must be derated to account for the increased heat. The NEC provides derating factors for various temperature ranges. For example, if the ambient temperature is 40 degrees Celsius, the ampacity of a copper conductor with type THHN insulation must be derated by 0.88. This means that the conductor's ampacity is reduced to 88% of its original value. Fourthly, the number of conductors in a raceway or cable also affects their ampacity. When multiple conductors are installed together in a raceway or cable, the heat generated by each conductor can raise the overall temperature, reducing their ampacity. The NEC provides adjustment factors for various numbers of conductors. For example, if there are 4 to 6 current-carrying conductors in a raceway, their ampacity must be adjusted by 0.80. This means that the ampacity of each conductor is reduced to 80% of its original value. Fifthly, the type of load also affects the conductor sizing. For continuous loads, which are defined as loads that operate for 3 hours or more. The conductor must be sized to carry at least 125% of the load current. This is to account for the increased heat generated by continuous operation. For example, if you have a continuous load of 20 amps, you would need to select a conductor with an ampacity of at least 25 amps. Sixthly, the overcurrent protection device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, must be sized to protect the conductor from overloads and short circuits. The NEC specifies that the overcurrent protection device must be sized no larger than the conductor's ampacity. However, there are some exceptions to this rule. For example, if the conductor's ampacity does not correspond to a standard overcurrent protection device size, you are allowed to use the next higher standard size, provided that the conductor is protected from overload. Seventhly, the installation method also affects the conductor sizing. The NEC specifies different ampacity values for conductors based on how they are installed. For example, conductors installed in free air have a higher ampacity than conductors installed in a raceway or cable. This is because conductors in free air have better heat dissipation. Eighthly, the conductor material also affects its ampacity. Copper and aluminum are the two most common conductor materials. Copper has a higher ampacity than aluminum for the same size conductor. This is because copper has a lower resistance than aluminum. Ninthly, the insulation type also affects the conductor's ampacity. The NEC specifies different ampacity values for conductors based on their insulation type. Some common insulation types include THHN, THHW, and XHHW. Each insulation type has a different temperature rating, which affects its ampacity. Tenthly, the length of the circuit also affects the conductor sizing. As mentioned earlier, voltage drop is a function of the circuit length. If the circuit is too long, the voltage drop may be excessive, requiring a larger conductor size. In addition to these factors, there are also some practical considerations to keep in mind when sizing conductors. Firstly, it is always a good idea to oversize conductors slightly to allow for future load growth. This can save you money in the long run by avoiding the need to replace undersized conductors later on. Secondly, it is important to choose conductors that are suitable for the environment in which they will be installed. For example, if the conductors will be exposed to moisture or corrosive substances, you should choose conductors with appropriate insulation and jacketing. Thirdly, it is important to follow all applicable codes and standards when sizing conductors. The NEC is the primary code that governs electrical installations in the United States, but there may also be local codes and regulations that you need to comply with. In summary, conductor sizing is a complex process that requires careful consideration of many factors. By following the guidelines provided by the NEC and keeping these practical considerations in mind, you can ensure that your electrical installations are safe, efficient, and compliant with all applicable codes and standards. Remember to always consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns about conductor sizing. They can help you determine the appropriate conductor size for your specific application and ensure that your electrical installation is safe and reliable. The selection of the correct circuit breaker is paramount for safeguarding electrical circuits. The breaker's ampacity rating should align with or slightly exceed the conductor's ampacity to prevent overloads. Moreover, the breaker's interrupting rating, signifying its capacity to safely halt a short circuit, must surpass the maximum fault current at its installation point. Breakers are available in various types, including thermomagnetic, which react to overloads and short circuits, and ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, designed to shield against ground faults. Beyond these technical facets, practical considerations come into play when selecting circuit breakers. Firstly, prioritizing quality and reliability is crucial. Opting for breakers from reputable manufacturers guarantees adherence to industry benchmarks and consistent performance. Secondly, ease of installation and maintenance should be factored in. Prioritizing user-friendly design simplifies installation and subsequent upkeep. Thirdly, future scalability is worth considering. Anticipating potential expansions or alterations in the electrical system enables the selection of breakers with adequate capacity for future requirements. Lastly, financial aspects should be taken into account. Although economizing is enticing, it is essential to strike a balance between cost-effectiveness and uncompromising quality and reliability. Investing in premium breakers may entail higher upfront costs but can yield significant savings in the long run by mitigating the likelihood of malfunctions, downtime, and potential hazards. In conclusion, the selection of circuit breakers demands meticulous assessment of technical parameters, practical factors, and financial considerations. By methodically evaluating ampacity ratings, interrupting ratings, breaker types, quality, reliability, installation ease, scalability, and financial implications, one can make well-informed decisions that ensure the secure, dependable, and efficient operation of electrical circuits.